Welcome to GATE class. So today in this class we will see the ideal filters. We will see the ideal filters. So let us discuss the ideal band pass filter. Ideal band pass filter. Let us discuss the ideal band pass filter. So let us take two frequencies omega 1 and omega 2. So band pass filter, this omega 1 omega 2 will pass. This is the pass band. So that transfer function, that amplitude of the transfer function is equals to 1 when we have omega 1 is less than omega 2, and it is equals to 0 otherwise. It is equals to 0 otherwise. So let us draw the diagram. If we draw the diagram, then we will find out that we have two frequency omega 1 and omega 2, that amplitude is 1, and here we have minus omega 1 and minus omega 2, that amplitude will be 1, and for all other frequency, that is from minus omega 1 to omega 1, it is 0, and from omega 2 to infinity it is 0, and less than or minus omega 2 it is equals to 0. So basically allows only frequency components in bands omega 1 minus omega 2 to pass through. And this also known as pass band. So this is also known as pass band. So this frequency from omega 1 to omega 2 is known as, so frequency from omega 1 to omega 2 is known as pass band, There is a important filter, that is a band stop filter, that is ideal band stop filter. Let us discuss the ideal band stop filter. So the ideal band stop filter, if we draw the diagram, then we will find out that if we go from minus omega 1 to plus omega 1, this is minus omega 1, this is plus omega 1, and here we have omega 2. So from omega 1 and omega 2, from omega 1 to omega 2, this magnitude of h omega is equals to 0. So these are stop bands. These are stop bands. So the frequency from omega 1 to omega 2, there is amplitude 0. Here we have amplitude 1. So this is also called the stop band. So this is also, this is called stop band in negative axis. This is a stop band. So this frequency range omega 2 minus omega 1, this is a stop band frequency, and greater than omega 2 it will pass. So it will pass if we have greater than omega 2 So here we have minus omega 2. So for greater than omega 2 it will pass. Here greater than minus omega 2 means in negative side, magnitude wide, it will pass from omega 1 minus omega 1 to omega 1 it will pass, but from omega 1 to omega 2 this is a stop band. So for band stop filter, mathematically we can write it as, for band stop filter, the magnitude modulus of h omega is equals to 0 when we have omega 1 is less than modulus omega is less than omega 2, and it is 0 otherwise. It is 0 otherwise. So it will block all the frequencies. It will block all the frequencies in omega 1 to omega 2. It will block all the frequencies in omega 1 to omega 2 and minus omega 2 to minus omega 1. It will stop all the frequencies. So this is called the ideal band stop filter. Now one very important point, that to avoid the distortion, all the filters should have linear phase characteristics. Like if we draw the phase spectrum, then this behavior is like this. This is a straight line. So the behavior should be just like a straight line. This is linear phase characteristics. So this is linear phase. So far what we have discussed, we have studied, or we have discussed the ideal filter. But it is difficult to design. It is difficult to design the ideal filter. It is difficult to design the ideal filter because of the sharp cutoff. It is difficult to design the ideal filter because of the sharp cutoffs. So naturally we have to look for non-ideal filters. So naturally we have to look for non-ideal filters. So let us discuss the non-ideal low pass filters. So let us discuss the non-ideal low pass filters. So the non-ideal low-pass filter consider a simple RC circuit. So we can consider a simple RC circuit and we can design the non-ideal low-pass filter. So for non-ideal low-pass filter, that cutoff will not be sharp. That cutoff will not be sharp as in case of. So if we see the ideal low-pass filter, then this is ideal low-pass filter. This is ideal low pass filter, and here we can see the sharp cutoff, but in case of non-ideal filter we will not see the sharp cutoff. So let us take a simple, let us design the let us design the low pass filter using a RC circuit. So this is R, this is C, here we have input XT and here we have output YT. So the simple RC circuit is, if we just write down the equation, if we using the Kirchhoff's voltage law, if we write down the equation, so what we will find out? We will find out that XT is equals to RC DYT divided by DT plus YT, because IT is equals to C DYT divided by DT. So here we have we have current flowing across this resistance. So we have IR plus YT is equals to XT. So just we have used that relation of IT. So this we will get. Now this is a constant coefficient differential equation. So this is equation number 1. So this equation number 1 is a constant coefficient differential equation which characterizes the LTI system. So taking the Laplace transform of equation 1 on both sides, taking the Fourier transform. Taking the Fourier transform of equation 1 on both sides, what we will get? We will get x omega is equals to RC j omega into y omega plus y omega. This is equation number 2. Now, so what we will find out that h omega is equals to y omega divided by x omega, and that is equals to 1 divided by 1 plus j omega RC. So this h omega is equals to 1 divided by 1 plus j omega RC. And what is omega? So we can further write it as 1 divided by 1 plus j omega divided by omega naught. So what is omega naught? Omega naught is 1 divided by RC. Let omega naught is equals to 1 divided by RC. So we have written this expression in this form. So if we find out the magnitude of this transfer function, then magnitude of h omega is equals to 1 divided by under root 1 plus omega divided by omega naught whole square, because this denominator we have of this form a plus jb, that is, let it is x, then magnitude of x is equals to under root of a square plus b square. And what is a? If we see that a is 1, and what is b? B is simply omega divided by omega naught. So here we have this is basically the amplitude is this is basically the amplitude spectrum. So what we can see that if we find out the square of amplitude, we will get the power spectrum. So if we find out h omega square, modulus of h omega square, that is equals to 1 divided by 1 plus omega divided by omega naught whole square. So from magnitude response, it can be seen that so from magnitude response, this is magnitude response, this is also called the magnitude response. So from magnitude response, it can be seen that from magnitude responses can be seen that when we have omega is equals to 0, what we will get? We will get modulus of h omega square. When we have omega it is equal to 0 is equals to 1. If we put omega is equals to 0 in this expression, what we will get? We will get it is equals to 1. So if we draw the diagram, let us draw the diagram of that. So if we draw the diagram, we will get this type of graph. So we have 1 at that point, that is the peak value. And so when we have omega is equals to 0, modulus of h omega square is equals to 1. And when we have omega tends to infinity, please check that, then modulus of h omega square tends to 0. So we are getting this type of graph. So this is omega. Here we have omega is equals to 0. It is going towards omega tends to plus infinity. And here we have omega tends to minus infinity. So the magnitude spectrum will tends to 0 as omega tends to minus infinity. Also in this here also the magnitude spectrum tends to 0 when we have omega tends to plus infinity. So this is clearly, if you see that characteristic, so this is clearly a non-ideal low pass filter. This is clearly a non-ideal low pass filter because it does not have any sharp gain, because it does not have any sharp gain. We can see that here there is no sharp gain. If we just see the ideal low pass filter, we have sharp gain. Here we don't have any sharp gain. There is no sharp gain. There is no sharp gain. We can see here. So this is an ideal, non-ideal low pass filter. Now we have a very important term that we are going to study, that is 3 dB bandwidth. That is 3 dB bandwidth. This is very important term if we analyze that communication system, especially if we analyze the filter design. If we design the filter, if we analyze the filter, that 3 dB bandwidth is very important term. So 3 dB bandwidth of the filter, it is denoted by W3dB, that is 3 dB bandwidth of the filter. So the value of omega, so what is 3 dB frequency? What is 3 dB frequency bandwidth basically? So W3dB is equals to the value of omega such that power of the filter, decreases by a factor of 1/2 compared to the peak power, compared to the peak value. So if the power is decreasing by 1/√2, then power is actually amplitude square. So basically amplitude will reduce by a factor of 1/√2. So what we get, that amplitude decreases by a factor of 1/√2. So what we are getting here, that modulus of H0 is equals to 1, and if we calculate the magnitude at 3 dB frequency, then magnitude is equals to 1/√2, and if we calculate the amplitude square, that is 1/2 into 1. 1 is basically the peak value. So what we are getting here, because H omega is equals to 1/1 plus omega, modulus of the H omega is equals to 1/omega divided by omega naught square. So H omega 3 dB, this is square, H omega 3 dB square, that is at 3 dB frequency, we can write it as 1 plus omega 3 dB square divided by omega naught square, and that is equals to 1. That is equals to when we have 3 dB, that is equals to 1/2. So after solving this, what we will get here, we will get omega 3 dB is equals to omega naught. What we will get? We will get omega 3 dB is equals to omega naught. And what is omega naught? Omega naught is equals to 1 divided by RC. So omega 3 dB is equals to 1 divided by RC. And F3 dB frequency, that is in hertz, is equals to 1 divided by 2 pi into RC. So another question is why it is called, another important question is why it is called 3 dB frequency. Why it is called 3 dB frequency? That important question is why it is called 3 dB frequency. So let us say that at 3 dB we have magnitude square is equals to 1 by 2. So let us take log on both sides. So we can get 10 log 10 modulus of h omega 3 dB square is equals to 10 log 10 1 by 2, and what we will find out? We will find out minus 3 dB. So it indicates that we are getting minus 3 dB when we have a power, then we have power which is equals to half. Then what is happening, that there is 3 dB reduction, in power. So in decibel we are getting 3 dB reduction in power. That's why it is called a 3 dB frequency. Hence it is known as 3 dB. Hence it is known as 3 dB frequency. Now let us discuss the signal bandwidth. Signal bandwidth. So xt has Fourier transform that is equals to x omega. Now let us take W3 dB is equals to W such that, W3 dB frequency is equals to W such that modulus of x omega 3 dB is equals to 1 divided by root 2 x0. So modulus of x omega 3 dB is square is equals to 1 divided by 2 multiplied by x0 square. So this is a notion. So basically this is a notion. Basically there is a notion. So there is a notion of what is known as band limited signal. I think something important, a notion of xt. I think something important. A notion of xt. A notion of xt is a band limited signal. So if xt is a band limited signal, if xt is a band limited signal, then if we find out the Fourier transform of xt, that is equal to x omega, then x omega will be equal to 0 for omega greater than omega m. And what is omega m? So omega m is the maximum frequency component. Omega m is the maximum frequency component. So if we plot the diagram, if we have magnitude of x omega and x-axis we have omega, then the diagram is like this. This is minus omega m, this is plus omega m, it is decreasing, and this is basically the band limited, this is band limited to omega m, this is band limited to omega m. So basically what is happening, that the band limited signal, so where is the application of this band limited signal? So the band limited signal plays an important role in sampling. Band limited signal plays an important role in sampling. Now let us do some problems. So consider a signal ext that is equal to cos 2t plus pi by 4. Find out the complex exponential Fourier series. Find out complex exponential Fourier series. Let us solve this problem. So xt is given as cos 2t plus pi by 4, and the time period is, if we see the time period, then time period omega naught is equal to 2, because omega naught t here, so omega naught is the time period is so we have time period t naught, so omega naught is equal to 2, so time period t naught is equal to 2 pi divided by 2, that is pi. So the time period t naught is equal to pi. So ext can be written as in the form of complex exponential Fourier series as k is equal to minus infinity to k is equal to plus infinity ck e raised to the power jk omega naught t. So this is the expression. Now suppose this is equation number 1. Now xt is equal to cos 2t plus pi by 4. Let us write in another manner this in the form of exponential. Let us write xt as 1 by 2 e raised to the power j 2t plus pi by 4 plus 1 by 2 e raised to the power minus j 2t plus pi by 4. So basically what is cos theta? Cos theta is equals to e raised to the power j theta plus e raised to the power minus j theta divided by 2. So we have applied this Euler's identity. Now this xt is further we can write it as 1 divided by 2 e raised to the power j pi by 4. We can put outside this and we can write it as e raised to the power j 2t. Then we can see here we have 1 by 2 e raised to the power minus j pi by 4 and we can write e raised to the power minus j 2t. So if we just compare, so this is equation number 2. So comparing equation 1 with equation 2, we get what we get? We get C1 is equals to 1 divided by 2 e raised to the power j pi by 4. So C1 is equals to 1 divided by 2 cos pi by 4. Again I am using this Euler's identity, that is e raised to the power j theta is equals to cos theta plus j sin theta, and e raised to the power minus j theta is equals to cos theta minus j sin theta. So it is cos pi by 4 plus j sin pi by 4, that is equals to 1 divided by 2, 1 divided by root 2 plus j 1 divided by root 2. So it is equals to C1 is equals to 1 plus j divided by root 2, 2 root, in fact 2 root, that is C1, and we have C minus 1, that is equals to 1 minus j divided by 2 root 2, and ck is equals to 0 for all values of k, modulus of k not equals to 1. So this is our complex exponential. This is our complex exponential Fourier coefficients. Let us discuss problem number 2. So periodic, let us find out the complex exponential Fourier series and trigonometric Fourier series for a periodic pulse. So we have a periodic square wave, and the periodic square wave is given below. Let us draw the periodic square wave. So we have from 0 to t0 by 2, it is 1. Then from t0 to, this is t0, then this is 3t0 by 2, it is again 1, and it is repeating. Then we have 2t0 to 5t0 by 2, it is 1, and it is repeating. It is repeating basically. So this is minus t0 by 2, this is minus t0, this is minus 3t0 by 2, this is minus 2t0 2. So it is repeating basically. Just like here we have t0 to 3t0 by 2, then we have minus 2t0 to 5 minus 5t0 by 2. So it is just like it is repeating. So this is a square wave. Now what we need to find out? So find out complex exponential Fourier series and trigonometric Fourier series. So where here we have CEFS means it stands for complex exponential Fourier series, and TFS means trigonometric Fourier series. TFS means TFS means trigonometric Fourier series. So let us solve this problem. So the fundamental time period is equal to T naught. The fundamental time period is equal to T naught. So omega naught is equal to 2 pi divided by T naught. Xt is written as summation k is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity ck e raised to the power jk omega naught into t. Now this is basically the complex exponential Fourier series. This is complex exponential Fourier. This is complex exponential Fourier series. So let us find out. So Ck is equal to that complex exponential Fourier series. Ck is equal to 1 divided by T naught 0 to T naught xt e raised to the power minus jk omega naught t into dt. So if we see that, if we solve that, what we will get here? We will get here that 1 divided by T naught from 0 to T naught by 2, the value is 1. And for all from T naught by 2 to T naught it is 0. So we can write it as 1 divided by T naught e raised to the power minus jk omega naught t divided by minus jk omega naught from 0 to T naught by 2, that limit. So what we will get here? We will get 1 divided by T naught. It is e raised to the power minus jk omega naught. Instead of t, we are using T naught by 2. We are putting T naught by 2, and here lower limit we will get 1. So it is equal to 1 divided by T naught e raised to the power minus jk omega naught T naught by 2 minus 1. And what is omega naught? Omega naught is equal to 2 pi divided by T naught. So omega naught T naught is equal to 2 pi. So ck we will get as 1 minus e raised to the power minus jk pi divided by j 2k into 2 pi. So what we will get finally is 1 minus e raised to the power minus jk pi divided by j 2k 2 pi, and this e raised to the power minus jk pi is equal to e raised to the power minus j pi raised to the power k, and it is cos pi minus j sin pi raised to the power k, and it is equals to 0. It is equals to 0, and that cos pi plus minus j sin pi, so it is equals to minus 0 minus 1, so raised to the power k, so it is minus 1 raised to the power k, because sin pi is 0, cos pi is minus 1, so this is minus 1 raised to the power k. So we are using this e raised to the power minus j k pi here in this expression. So ck we will get as 1 minus 1 raised to the power k divided by jk jk 2 pi. So if k is even, so what we will get for k is equals to 2m. If k is even, then it is equals to k is equals to 2m. Ck is equals to 0, because if in this expression if k is even, then this will become 1, this will become 1, and 1 minus 1 will become 0. So ck will equals to 0 when we have k equals to 2m, that is even. So if k is even, then ck will equals to 0. Let us take another case. If k is odd, so what we will get, let k is odd means it is k is equals to 2m plus 1. So ck is equals to that is 2m plus 1 in fact. So c 2m plus 1 is equals to 1 minus 1 raised to the power 2m plus 1 divided by 2j. Instead of k we are using 2m plus 1 into pi, so we can further write it as 2, because this value will become 2, this 2j2 2m plus 1 into pi. So c 2m plus 1 is equals to 1 divided by j pi 2m plus 1. So for any odd value of k, that is 2m plus 1, c naught for any value, so this is for any odd value of k. Now let us find out c naught. So c naught is equals to 1 divided by t naught 0 to t naught xt into dt, and that is equals to 1 divided by 2. So c naught is equals to 1 divided by 2. So let us write down the complex exponential Fourier series. So xt is equals to 1 divided by 2. We have just put the c naught value outside that summation, and rest terms we can write. It is 1 divided by j pi. M is equals to minus infinity to m is equals to plus infinity. 1 divided by 2m plus 1 e raised to the power j 2m plus 1 omega naught into t. So this is the complex exponential Fourier series expression. This is the complex exponential Fourier series expansion of the periodic square wave. So this is complex exponential Fourier series for square wave, for periodic square wave. Let us find out the trigonometric Fourier series. So the trigonometric Fourier series is xt is equals to a naught divided by 2 plus summation k is equals to 1 to infinity ak cos k omega naught t plus summation k is equals to 1 to infinity bk sin k omega naught t. And what is C naught? C naught is very simple. It is equals to A naught by 2. So what is A naught? A naught is 2 times of C naught. So 2 times of C naught means what is the C naught? C naught is 1 by 2. So 2 into 1 by 2, that is equals to 1. So A naught is equals to 1. So what we are getting? A naught is equals to 1. So let us find out AK and BK. So AK is equals to CK plus C of minus K. Now CK is equals to 0 for K is when K is even. So AK is also equals to 0 if K is even. Now for K odd, that is K is equals to 2m plus 1. When K is odd, when we have even means we have K is equals to 2m. So when we have K is equals to 2m plus 1, that is for odd case, C 2m plus 1 is equals to 1 divided by j pi 2m plus 1. So AK, that is a 2m plus 1 for odd value, we are just replacing the value of K. It is equals to C 2m plus 1 plus C minus of 2m plus 1. So that we are getting, again if we see that we are getting 1 divided by j pi 2m plus 1 plus 1 divided by minus j pi 2m plus 1, that is equals to 0. That is equals to 0. So what we are getting, a 2m plus 1 is equals to 0 for all value of k, when k is equals to 2m plus 1. For all values of k, that is odd. So in short, AK is equals to 0 for all value of k. Because AK is 0 for even value of k, also AK is 0 for odd value of k. So AK is 0 for all values of k. And let us find out BK. So BK is J times CK minus C of minus K. So if K is even, that is K is equals to 2m, that is even, then BK is equals to 0. And for K is equals to 2m plus 1, that is odd value, BK is equals to J C 2m plus 1 minus C minus 2m plus 1, that is equals to J 1 divided by j pi 2m plus 1 minus 1 divided by j pi 2m plus 1. So what we are getting finally, BK is equals to 2 divided by pi 2m plus 1. So because k is, this is for odd, so b 2m plus 1 is equals to 2 divided by pi 2m plus 1. So b2m is equals to 0 and b2m plus 1 is equals to 2 divided by pi 2m plus 1. That is the value of bk. When k is, so this is for k even and this is for k odd. So the trigonometric Fourier series, now we can write the trigonometric Fourier series as xt is equals to 1 by 2 plus summation m is equals to 0 to m is equals to infinity 2 divided by pi 2m plus 1 plus into sine 2m plus 1 omega naught t plus 0. So there is no need to write this again. So this is the trigonometric Fourier series. So the trigonometric Fourier series I am again writing, it is equals to 1 divided by 2 plus 2 divided by pi. We are putting outside these terms that is not related to m, and that is summation m is equals to 0 to infinity sine 2m plus 1 omega naught t divided by 2m plus 1. So this is the trigonometric Fourier series. This is trigonometric Fourier series of periodic square wave. This is trigonometric Fourier series for periodic square wave. So we can further expand it. So after expansion, what we will get? We will get 1 by 2 plus 2 divided by pi sine omega naught t plus 1 divided by 3 sine 3 omega naught t plus 1 divided by 5 sine 5 omega naught t plus dot dot dot. Let us do this problem. The problem is find out the complex exponential Fourier series of xt is equals to cos 4t plus sine 6t. So for solving this type of problem, we first need to find out the fundamental time period, because this signal is combination of cos 4t plus sine 6t. So this is 2 pi divided by t1, that is equals to 4. So the time period for this signal cos 4t is 2 pi divided by 4, that is pi by 2. And the time period for this signal is 2 pi divided by 6, that is pi divided by 3. Now that fundamental time period we will find out is by using this relation t1 divided by t2 is pi divided by 2 plus divided by pi divided by 3. So this is pi divided by 2 into 3 divided by pi. So it is 3 divided by 2. So we can write it as 3t1 is equals to 3t2. In fact, it is 3t2 is equals to 2t1. So the fundamental time period is 2t1 or 3t2, and that is equals to t1 is pi by 2, so it is 2 into pi by 2, that is equals to pi. So it is omega naught. So omega naught is 2 pi divided by t naught. So 2 pi divided by t naught is pi. So omega naught is equals to 2. So the fundamental time period is 2. So fundamental frequency is 2. So the fundamental frequency is 2. Now xt is written as summation k is equals to minus infinity to plus infinity ck e raised to the power jk omega naught t, that is equals to summation k is equals to minus infinity to plus infinity ck e raised to the power j. Putting the value of omega naught, that is 2, so it is 2kt, and that is equals to cos 4t plus sine 6t. Now xt we can write it in the form of, by using the Euler's identity, as 1 divided by 2 e raised to the power j4t plus 1 divided by 2 e raised to the power minus j4t plus 1 divided by 2j e raised to the power j 6t minus 1 divided by 2j e raised to the power minus j 6t. So it is equals to, if we just see that, we can find out that it is equals to minus 1 divided by 2j e raised to the power minus j 6t plus 1 divided by 2 e raised to the power minus j 4t. Putting all these negative and positive values at one place. So these are these two negative and the rest is positive. So it is j 4t plus 1 divided by 2j e raised to the power j 6t. Now if we compare it with this complex exponential Fourier series, so this is equation number 2 and this is equation number 1. So what we are getting, comparing 1 with 2, we can get the Fourier series coefficient, that is c minus 3 is equals to minus 1 divided by 2j. C minus 2 is equals to 1 divided by 2. C2 is equals to 1 divided by 2. C3 is equals to 1 divided by j2. And ck is equals to 0 for rest, for all other values of k. And ck is equals to 0 for all other values of k. So we have c minus 3, minus 2, 2 and 3 and rest. And very important thing is that c minus 3 is 3 conjugate. So c3 is 1 divided by j2. If we find out the conjugate, that is equals to minus 1 divided by j2, that we have verified. This is c minus 3 and this is c3. We can verify through this expression also. So because c k conjugate is equals to c of minus k, this expression.